Hi, PNW Key Clubbers. Welcome to the 2023 Running for Higher Office webinar. Now that it is 7:05, we will go ahead and get started. My name is Nola Stenstrom, and I'm currently serving as your Pacific Northwest District Governor. I'm a senior from Yale Secondary School in Division 18.
Hey guys, my name is Tin Vo, and I'm currently serving as your Pacific Northwest District Secretary. I'm a senior from Hazen High School in Division 32.
Hi everyone, I'm Eric Lee and I'm the District Treasurer and I'm currently a part of Division 18 in Canada.
Hey everyone, I'm Luke and I'm your district editor, and I'm a senior from International Community School in Division 27.
Hi everybody, my name is Amy Tran and I'm a senior at North Creek High School serving as the Lieutenant Governor of Division 21.
Hey, my name is Kayla Nguyen and I'm a senior at Clackamas High School serving as the Lieutenant Governor of Division 66.
What's good, PNW? My name is Alyssa Klein, and I am a senior from Mayfair High School in the Kelly-Nevada district. I currently serve as your international trustee.
Now that you have had a chance to meet your speakers for tonight, I will be moving on to the agenda for the evening. Tonight, we will cover all of the individual leadership roles PNW Key Club has to offer at the district board level, including the position of Lieutenant Governor, the positions of the Executive Committee, and the duties they entail. We will also review international board positions and the process of seeking higher office at district convention. Please stay until the very end, as there will be an opportunity to ask questions. I'll first pass it on to Amy to talk about the position of Lieutenant Governor.
Thanks, Nola. I'll start by highlighting the duties, expectations, and responsibilities of a Lieutenant Governor. Throughout this segment, please write down any questions you may have so that we can address them later. The primary role of a Lieutenant Governor is to serve as a liaison between the district and the club level. While each division is different in terms of membership demographics and the number of clubs, the responsibilities of a Lieutenant Governor are the same, regardless of the division they serve. A strong candidate for Lieutenant Governor will be prepared to work with the clubs in their division to create a noticeable impact in their community. They should be ready to analyze the way each club and their division functions to help identify resources that may assist them. Lieutenant Governors represent their division, motivate club officers to excel in their positions, and organize various educational and service-related opportunities for their clubs. If you're looking to run for the position of Lieutenant Governor for the sole purpose of fulfilling a resume slot or gaining a public following, this position will not benefit you nor your division. Strong candidates for the position of Lieutenant Governor are prepared to consistently work hard and think critically throughout their term. The responsibilities of a Lieutenant Governor can be split into two components: division and district responsibilities. We will start with division responsibilities. So as a Lieutenant Governor, you'll be responsible for serving a set of clubs in your division. Divisions can have between 2 and 14 clubs. However, most divisions typically have about 6 to 9 clubs. Each divisional size has its own set of challenges and opportunities. Be prepared to serve the number of your clubs in your division. As stated previously, your primary responsibility is to administratively support and grow the clubs in your division. This will include, but is not limited to, presidential council meetings, club visits, and regular communication with your officers. A presidential council meeting, also known as a PCM, is a monthly meeting that is held between the Lieutenant Governor and club presidents. During this meeting, the Lieutenant Governor provides updates from the division, district, and international levels, and may also facilitate discussion between the officers. PCMs can be held in person or online. Additionally, Lieutenant Governors must visit each club twice during their term, with their first round being completed by June 30th. As such, it is crucial that you have a schedule that allows you to complete visits, some of which could be during the school day, and have a means of transportation to get to clubs. You can get reimbursed for gas or the fee of your Uber. Lieutenant Governors are also responsible for holding 3 divisional council meetings, also known as DCMs, during their term. A DCM is a meeting with the officers and members of your division to perform an act of service and or discuss official business related to Key Club. The first is an officer training conference, which should be held in the spring or early fall. Next is the Lieutenant Governor election rally for your successor. This must be held by mid-January of 2024. And lastly would be a DCM of choice, also known as a DCM. Examples of DCM include a park cleanup, District Project 101, and other things along those lines. Please note that you are only required to hold one DCM of choice during your term. However, some lieutenant governors decide to hold them on a more regular basis. Nonetheless, DCMs do not satisfy the monthly PCM requirement or vice versa. A lieutenant governor must also work closely with the Kiwanis family, which includes visiting all Kiwanis clubs in their division once and making an effort to attend all Kiwanis divisional council meetings. If you are unfamiliar with the Kiwanis family, you can find more information on the PNW Key Club website. Lastly, you will be responsible for achieving full and timely dues collection of both district and international dues for all clubs in your division. As for your district responsibilities, you will be responsible for submitting both a monthly divisional newsletter and report on your division by the 10th of each month. Newsletters are distributed to members, officers, advisors, and Kiwanis clubs in the division. Additionally, lieutenant governors must attend all scheduled board meetings, including your winter board trainer, in addition to spring, summer, fall, and the following winter board, a Key Club Days in-person and/or virtual event, as well as district convention at the beginning and end of your term, all of which will be either in Portland or the Seattle area. There will be an adult on the PNW Kiwanis Adult Committee that can drive you to board meetings. Failure to attend more than one of any of these required functions will result in immediate dismissal from office. Therefore, if you already know you have a scheduling conflict with more than one of the required meeting dates in the 2024 to 2025 Lieutenant Governor candidate packet, you should not be running for the position of your division's respective Lieutenant Governor. Lastly, you will be assigned to one district committee. District committees are the main way that we complete work as a district and advance towards completing our strategic plan. Typically, each committee meets 1 to 2 times a month, and as a committee member, you will have to complete work between meetings. This year, our standing committees include District Convention, District Project, Kiwanis Family Relations, Membership Growth and Reactivation, the Pacific Northwest Opportunities Fund, and the single position of Webmaster. However, the standing committees may differ next year depending on the appointments made by our next district governor. On the screen are some screenshot examples of newsletters. All newsletters are created through MailChimp, and training on how to create them is given during winter board. Please be prepared to spend a significant amount of time creating high-quality newsletters every month. I'll now pass it off to Kayla to discuss the skill set of a lieutenant governor and how to run for the position.
Thank you, Amy. Individuals who are successful in the role of lieutenant governor often share a few key characteristics. First, they typically are able to analyze issues within clubs. It is imperative that lieutenant governors understand and take action on issues affecting their clubs before viewing the division as a single entity. Without having a strong set of clubs, it is not possible to have effective DCMs, fundraisers, or communication. Additionally, the work that they do during their term may not impact their division until the following year. The ability to be patient with creating sustainable plans is a skill that will benefit a lieutenant governor as well as their clubs. Second, they have strong communication skills. More often than not, the reason clubs do not communicate with the lieutenant governor is because they do not understand what assistance they can receive. Additionally, it is important to work with advisors when planning projects or events. It is much easier to accomplish your goals as a lieutenant governor when you have the support of all the advisors in your division. Third, time management skills are necessary for this position because lieutenant governors must complete all parts of their service agreement during their term. The service agreement is a minimal set of responsibilities that are necessary to have an effective term. They are not guidelines or optional responsibilities because lieutenant governors cannot be successful in this position if they do not fulfill them. On that note, they should also avoid last-minute planning. In order for club visits, training opportunities, and events to be successful, the lieutenant governor must always be thoughtful and intentional in their decisions. Lastly, as a leader of Key Club in their respective division, thinking creatively, especially when it comes to community service, will serve lieutenant governors well. By making connections with community leaders and organizations, lieutenant governors can introduce their division to new and unique service projects. Individuals who know their division well or are prepared to learn quickly will be well suited for this position. In addition, each lieutenant governor will have their own unique set of struggles and successes. Your ability to tailor support specifically to your division will be crucial to serving in this position. This concludes our segment on the responsibilities of a lieutenant governor. We will now be moving on to how to run for the position of lieutenant governor. Similar to running for a district executive or international board position, the only requirement to run for lieutenant governor is that you must be a dues-paid member in a good standing from a club within your division. All information regarding how to run for Lieutenant Governor can be found in the Lieutenant Governor candidate packet, which will be emailed to all attendees. You should have already received this resource from your current Lieutenant Governor. Please note that divisional election rallies are held on different dates, but all must be held prior to January 21st, 2024. All election rallies will be held in person this year. Candidates must arrive at least 20 minutes prior to the start of the election rally. At this time, you must have the Lieutenant Governor Service Agreement and candidacy forms submitted to your Lieutenant Governor via email. Both of these forms are included in the Lieutenant Governor candidate packet, which can be scanned or photocopied. To summarize the election process, the election will begin with the current Lieutenant Governor introducing each candidate and stating their home club. The current Lieutenant Governor will use a random number generator to determine the order in which the delegates will hear their speeches and ask questions. All candidates, except for the individual going first, will be instructed to leave the room. Each candidate will deliver their speech, not to exceed 3 minutes. The election rally will then have a chance to ask questions up to the candidates, not to exceed 3 minutes. If there are no questions from the audience, the Lieutenant Governor will ask you questions from the sample candidate background questions and knowledge questions, which can be found in the Lieutenant Governor candidate packet. After the questioning period, the candidate will be instructed to leave the room while other candidates speak. Club delegates will have the opportunity to deliberate and cast their votes. Please keep in mind, this is a summary of election procedures, and additional information can be found in the Lieutenant Governor candidate packet. As a candidate, you must adhere to a $0 campaign policy and may not visit any clubs with the intention of campaigning. Additionally, you may email an approved statement of intent to each club president in your division stating your decision to run for office. This statement must be approved by the Lieutenant Governor prior to you sending it. You may also be endorsed by your club, meaning that your club agrees you are qualified to serve in the position and supports your candidacy. Please keep in mind that a statement of intent and endorsement is not required. This covers the procedures for running for Lieutenant Governor. Please save any questions you have until our open period for questioning at the end. I will now hand it off to Nola for more information about a district executive committee position.
Thank you, Amy and Kayla, for your insights. For the following segment, we will highlight the duties, expectations, roles, and responsibilities as leaders of the PNW Key Club District Board, along with information about how we work in relation to one another. First off, in order to run for any position, you must be a dues-paid Key Club member, strive at all times to strengthen and build membership in the district, maintain the quality of schoolwork, and keep up to date on any other personal obligations. This is incredibly important to remember, since as a district executive, you will have to prioritize Key Club over any other activity and make sacrifices for the betterment of the organization. Moving on, some of the shared duties of the executive committee include facilitating all board meetings, attending executive committee meetings, and being present at other events when called upon. The executives work together to create training materials for all of the lieutenant governors, send out monthly executive newsletters, develop committee directives, and much more. Being an executive is a position that requires a high degree of flexibility, where you will be working with other students and adults frequently. Now, with that introduction out of the way, I will pass it on to Luke Wensing to tell you more about the position of district editor.
Hi, everyone. Once again, my name is Luke Wenzine, and I am your current district editor. My main responsibility as a district editor has been the development of promotional materials for our district events like Key Club Days and Decon, and various works needed for our many specific committees. To promote effectively, the editor is the primary owner of all district social media accounts. So when someone responds to your message or posts a reel, that's me behind the scenes. But PNW social media encompasses more than just Instagram, but this also includes updating our Facebook and YouTube. As editor, it has been my duty to explore new editing and design techniques to further enhance the quality of promotional materials, and by using visuals to enhance the communication between district and club levels. I have also used our response analytics to find new methods of promotion that reach others more effectively. But with all the talk of graphic design, one could be intimidated putting all this together. To this, don't worry if you don't have graphic design experience. There are plenty of resources out there, and by taking initiative by going out and self-teaching, I promise that you will be able to learn all of the relevant programs and tools, such as Photoshop, Illustrator, and Premiere Pro to successfully complete responsibilities as district editor. Additionally, as your immediate past district editor, I will always be there to help you when you need it, with a second opinion, advice, or software knowledge. One of my foremost responsibilities as a district editor that can probably easily be guessed has been putting together the various graphics seen throughout the district. As the editor, it has been my job to take graphic requests from various committees and take initiative in my own graphics. These include promo videos like for Key Club Days or a resource like the registration packets used for DCON. Something to note when putting together promotions is that all materials going out to the public will be approved by our amazing district administrator, Brian Egger, and our assistant district administrator, Karina Seiko. Working with others is essential in taking constructive criticism well if an area needs to be changed in something the editor has made. As editor, your role in the district is to communicate information from the district to the club level and ensure that these communications are timely, well-written, free of mistakes, and follow the key club graphic standards. These communications take a variety of forms, the first being our district publication, The Espresso. Each year, it has been published online on Issue, and articles are written by district board and club members. This will require you to send out many emails to board members requesting these articles and other sections that you may want in your issues. The dates for the Espresso are flexible, but typically surround the 4 seasons of the year. Communications also extend to the lieutenant governors, who create monthly divisional newsletters. It is the editor's job to oversee the timeliness and quality of these newsletters, and making sure that they are turned in by the 10th of every month. It is also the editor's job to teach the incoming lieutenant governors how to make newsletters and how to use the software associated with sending newsletters out correctly each month, such as MailChimp and Google Groups. On occasion, I also provide feedback to club editors and assist them when they reach out. During DCON, I will lead the newsletter/editor workshop, so be sure to attend it. Some of my other responsibilities include creating headers for the biweekly email updates, sign up and feedback forms, uploading videos to the YouTube channel, and serving as executive liaison to the webmaster, who is the lieutenant governor who operates the PNW Key Club website. And then personally, I have also taken on being a liaison to the DCON committee as well. So when it comes to this skill set, so some skills are required for the district editor are as follows. So first and most importantly is to be dynamic. As editor, your weekly schedule can change with a single email in your mailbox. You must be flexible enough to change plans on a dime when needed. Hopefully, post requests should give you typically enough time, but there will be crunch times if there needs to be a quick turnaround. There will be times when requests can be overwhelming, so being communicative with expectations and prioritizing time-sensitive tasks is a must as the editor. Secondly, is a willingness to learn. As I mentioned earlier, it's okay if you don't have a lot of experience with graphic design, but be prepared to put in the extra time and the extra effort to research and discover new mediums of design in your personal style. If you are confident in your ability, that will be one less thing that you need to pick up, but expect to learn the Key Club graphical standards and the behind the scenes of what is being put out. A general skill that is important in a workplace environment is communication. Giving feedback to LTGs, communicating to club editors, and working on the executive committee all require effective communication. This can sometimes be challenging, but necessary when you need to provide constructive criticism to your peers when something simply isn't right and can be improved. In a more creative role like the editor, it will serve you well to have a vision. A good editor will be able to keep track of the annual events that we hold and the requests that are asked of them, but a great editor will be able to have a vision for something that they want to create that will push Key Club in an even better direction. If you don't think that you are the visionary type, do not worry. There will be countless opportunities as editor to go above your responsibilities and create a large impact through your graphics. As per any role, organization is also incredibly helpful. In the beginning of my term, I was overwhelmed with the malleability and potential of the editor role. It can be as much as you want it to be, so don't overwhelm yourself by jumping from task to task. Making plans for yourself will provide essential for a happy medium. Organization also makes back-end development much easier. Files in the right place, named correctly, structure for yourself and others ensures that promotion runs smoothly for your term and for the years to come. And with that, I'll hand it off to District Treasurer Eric Lee.
Thanks, Luke. As I mentioned before, my name is Eric Lee, and I'm currently serving as the District Treasurer as well as our Pacific Northwest Opportunities Fund Committee Chair. So as District Treasurer, you will be responsible for managing and distributing financial information regarding the Pacific Northwest District, ranging from member level all the way to district funding. Your duties will also involve providing members with assistance when it comes to club and divisional fundraising. As treasurer, your role will include reporting on the finances of the district board, obtaining a 95% dues rate collection for the district, effectively promoting the Pacific Northwest Opportunities Fund and evaluating the applications, working to create resources for successful service project planning, fundraising, and the Pacific Northwest Opportunities Fund. So, promoting membership growth and club chartering through dues payments. As treasurer, you are the primary reporter of the district's financial and dues information. Your goal is to obtain a 95% dues collection rate from all the clubs in the Pacific Northwest District. In order to do so, you have to maintain contact with clubs that do not want to pay their dues by the dues deadline to ensure that any issues they may have are resolved. You may also be responsible for providing regular monthly updates on the district's dues status to the district's board. Additionally, you'll work closely with the district committees, primarily with the Membership Growth and Reactivation Committee, or the MGRC, to encourage membership growth and retention through resources designed to assist with increasing membership and timely submission of dues. As district treasurer, you're also responsible for monitoring district finances by collecting and processing Lieutenant Governor expense vouchers for reimbursements and money reconciliation for fundraising, working closely with the district finance administrator, Mike Wallace, to do so. You must also provide regular updates to the district board on their expenditure and financial status. Additionally, you must also train and support club treasurers. This will be done through monthly emails, where you can provide club treasurers with helpful resources and district updates. You can also utilize presentations, social media posts, and district publications to share important information with club treasurers. You are also responsible for leading the Treasurers Workshop at DCON 2024, where you will train upcoming club treasurers for the upcoming year. You are also responsible for providing consistent updates for vacant divisions, which are divisions without a lieutenant governor, if you're assigned to one. As mentioned previously, you must provide timely updates to the district board every month. This will be done in the form of monthly executive newsletters, where you will provide the district board with financial and dues information, as well as updates on the Pacific Northwest Opportunities Fund. You'll also curate a monthly membership and financial report, which will contain that month's up-to-date dues collection and reimbursement information. As treasurer, you will submit at least 2 articles for each edition of the quarterly district publication, the Expresso. One article will be the executive update, and the other will either be a separate treasurer update or an article for the Pacific Northwest Opportunities Fund. One of the most important duties of the district treasurer is serving as the chair of the Pacific Northwest Opportunities Fund, or the PNWOF committee, our district grant. As a committee chair, you're responsible for presiding over all committee meetings, ensuring that the PNWOF application is ready to release on September 1st, and promoting the PNWOF through social media and other resources throughout and leading up to the application period. You also must begin the application evaluation process promptly after the application closes on October 31st, and work with your committee to determine the projects you choose to fund to ensure that the recipients of the grant are notified in mid-November. After the application process, you'll continue to work with your committee to ensure that reports and resources are provided for the PNWOF. You will also serve actively as the executive liaison on any other committee that is assigned. This year, I served as the executive liaison to the Membership Growth and Reactivation Committee. So in order to serve as an efficient and strong district treasurer, there are some skills that are important to have. Firstly, organization has a vital role for that of the district treasurer. You'll be tasked with many duties that involve organizing numbers, club statuses, and other information in order to present them to the district board and to members. So it's important that you know how to organize and manage such information beforehand. Planning is also an important part of the organization that will assist you in keeping track of your goals and duties throughout the year. This will help you more effectively throughout your term to fulfill and respond to unexpected problems or challenges you may encounter. The service year goes by quickly, so effective time management will help you reach your goals as district treasurer. Because September is not only the start of the due season, but also when the PIMLOF application opens, knowing to effectively plan and allocate your time will ensure that you're not overwhelmed or are providing subpar quality work. You're also tasked with sending out multiple monthly updates, so being able to plan out tasks will serve you well in that role as well. As treasurer, you will be constantly working with other people, either that be the executive board, the district board, the PIMLOF committee, or club members. Communication is vital in this role to ensure that you are able to resolve conflicts, listen to others, make compromises, and ultimately be a strong leader. You must be willing to be assertive, have problem-solving skills, and have a strong listening skill to be able to take input and feedback. Innovation within your position will create new opportunities for growth as you treasurer. When developing new resources, sharing fundraising ideas, coming up with promotional methods, critical thinking will assist you in being innovative and thinking outside the box. It will also assist you with problem solving as you'll be able to approach situations with an objective standpoint. With that being said, we will now move on to the responsibilities of the district secretary with Tim Vo.
Hi, everyone. As I said earlier, my name is Tin, and I currently serve as your district secretary. As district secretary, you are the chief communicator to the district and serve as the only executive committee member that maintains consistent communication with all clubs throughout the district. You also manage our methods of communication. So getting into our basic responsibilities, as secretary, you're responsible for recording and maintaining meeting minutes at all seasonal district board meetings, which are required to be published within 15 days. If you're unfamiliar with what the meeting minutes are, please refer to the PNW Key Club website under the Publications tab. Additionally, you are the primary support mechanism for all club secretaries. That means you will train club secretaries at district convention, release resources to support them during their term, and collect, read, and track all the monthly secretary reports. This includes tracking the district project contributions. Your relationship with club secretaries is what makes the position of district secretary unique, and thus you serve as a direct link between the district and club levels. You will also need to develop and publish the district directory by August 31st. In case you don't know what the district directory is, it essentially contains all meeting and contact information in the district. This includes officer and advisor email addresses and the time and location of all Key Club and Kiwanis meetings. As district secretary, you will need to periodically release updated versions of the directory throughout your term, and you may access the current one on the PNW Key Club website as well. Just like the rest of the executive officers, you'll be responsible for contributing to the monthly executive newsletters and the quarterly district publication, The Espresso. You will also administer the district Google groups, updating each officer Google group regularly and overseeing the use of each group by committee chairs, lieutenant governors, and/or executive committee members. Promotional materials and resources to send through these Google groups will also be under your responsibility. You will be assigned committees to work with and assist throughout the year. I personally serve on the district convention and the MGRC committees, and you will be creating annual reports that summarizes the work of each committee at the end of your term, and you will be assisting the committee chairs where necessary. One other important aspect to keep in mind is that you work closely with the rest of the executive officers, especially the district governor. You may oversee meetings or fulfill other obligations in their absence. There are also some skills necessary to successfully fulfill your term as district secretary. First, of course, organization. As secretary, you'll be given several projects simultaneously with varying deadlines that must be managed effectively. As a center of communication, it's likely that you'll have to manage and keep track of the deadlines, the details, in order to support the executive committee or the district board. Another skill, which you've heard everyone talk a lot about so far, is communication. The district secretary is first and foremost a communication role. Every aspect of this position is based on its ability to effectively communicate. So if you're not willing to communicate with new people, large groups, or be open to addressing conflict, this position may not be for you. Additionally, your diligence will be exercised constantly throughout your term. You will find that the role will be expected to effectively and independently be able to carry out their own tasks while supporting others. And in order to do this successfully, you must be able to complete your tasks without consistent reminders or a need for validation from others. You'll also find that the district secretary must be willing to accept extra tasks and projects and assist those who are in need of support. So being flexible, as well as being assertive enough to gauge your capabilities, is going to be a challenge that you'll have to deal with throughout your term. And that's everything I have for district secretary, and we'll now be moving on to the responsibilities of district governor by Nola Stenstrom.
As mentioned earlier, my name is Nola Stenstrom, and I'm currently serving as your 2023 to 2024 PNW Key Club District Governor, and I'll now introduce you to the role of governor. For a brief overview, the district governor ensures that district board members are providing adequate support to clubs, overseeing the development of training materials for the district board and club officers, and they develop or carry out a strategic plan for the vision of PNW Key Club. The district governor serves as the chief executive officer of the district, training lieutenant governors and evaluating their performance. The district governor also develops committee directives for their term in office, appoints committee chairs and assigns co-committee members, and presides over all board meetings as well as the Pacific Northwest Key Club District Convention. It is important to note that some committees can change from year to year depending on the needs of the district. However, all committee chairs are selected at the discretion of the governor in consultation with the district administrator. In this position, you are ultimately responsible for evaluating and supporting over 30 lieutenant governors. Basically, what this means is that you are responsible for supporting all of the lieutenant governors and their varied needs. So in this, you will be developing training resources for club officers. And for example, you will be supporting them by developing new resources that will assist them in their positions. The district governor, in this position, you're ultimately responsible for evaluating all of these lieutenant governors and will be working closely with the district administrator, Brian Egger, as well as the assistant district administrator, Karina Seiko. Further, you will be required to maintain good relations with your Kiwanis family counterparts. This includes the Kiwanis district governor and Circle K district governor. You'll be responsible for hosting collaborative meetings as necessary for the betterment of both organizations. It will also be your job to implement a district project for the 2024 to 2025 service year, which this year is the SEED End Youth Houselessness Initiative. Throughout the year, you will work closely with the district project committee to ensure that the project goals are being fulfilled. As the Chief Executive Officer of the Pacific Northwest, you will also be responsible for collecting and creating a monthly Lieutenant Governor report, in addition to sending your own Governor report to Key Club International as part of the International Council. To represent PNW Key Club as a member of the Key Club International Council, you will work closely with your international trustee to communicate the desires and needs of the district. You will host bi-weekly or monthly meetings with your trustee to receive relevant updates from Key Club International and work through any issues the district is facing. It is important to note that being governor requires you to travel extensively throughout the district. You will attend a variety of events at the beginning of your term, throughout the summer, during the school year, and even after your term. Please note that in some months, specifically during the summer, you will be required to travel 2 out of 4 weekends. As you can see, a very time-committing position. These trips will include official visits in which you visit different divisions to assist and train officers that are geographically distinct, international training conferences, board meetings, and more. Lastly, you will need to push the district to reach its fullest potential. Please keep in mind that you will have the weight of the district on your shoulders. It will be challenging and time-consuming, but I can assure you that it is well worth it in terms of what you will learn about not only yourself, but the organization we all serve. While I have communicated the main responsibilities of this position, please keep in mind that there are many other duties and responsibilities that come with serving as the governor, which I, of course, am open to answering any questions regarding. While there is no specific skill set that guarantees success in the position of district governor, there are a few pieces of advice that I want to give those who are interested in running for this position. Although you may want to accomplish as much as you can during your term, it is important to understand how to prioritize the tasks at hand. You will become stretched too thin between the various responsibilities if you try to complete them all simultaneously, so the ability to prioritize is essential. Additionally, you have many meetings where you cannot complete work during important events, such as board meetings, key club days, or official visits, so plan to do most of your work on weekdays. District governors spend a great deal of time sending emails and presenting information to others, so it is necessary that a district governor has a strong command of grammar, vocabulary, and vocal projection. One of the other main responsibilities of the district governor is to provide feedback and address deficiencies that may be impacting the quality of the district board's performance. Lieutenant governors may need help staying on track with their duties, organizing meetings, or solving issues in their division. It's important that the district governor is willing and able to address conflict and confront board members who may not be meeting expectations outlined in their service agreement. You should also be prepared to adapt as an individual, but also adapt materials, resources, and operations to address existing issues within the district board, Kiwanis family, and various parts of the Pacific Northwest. And on that note, you must be able to think analytically to determine how you can best address these issues. This includes looking at cause and effect patterns to make a conclusion about the effectiveness of something currently happening or something you propose. That concludes the duties and skill sets of the governor. I will now let District Treasurer Eric Lee tell you more about running for District Executive Office and the process in which you must go through.
So you might be wondering, what are the requirements for running for District Executive Office? Other than being a dues-paid member of the Pacific Northwest Key Club District, there are no other requirements to be eligible for running for higher office. You are not required to have held office before, including positions at the club or district level. For those seeking district executive office positions, I would like to point you to the candidate checklist. This checklist is located on page 6 of the DCON election packet, which can be found on the PNW Key Club DCON 2024 website, and includes all required forms and dates to be eligible to run. The required paperwork includes the pre-convention orientation meeting registration form, campaign flyer, candidate information sheet, medical form, code of conduct, and service agreement form for the office of governor, secretary, treasurer, or editor. All of these forms will be completed through the Google Forms this year, so please remember to fill them out using these respective links. In addition, you will need to submit your campaign flyer in PDF format, also via Google Form by February 1st. Remember that to be eligible to run, you must fill out all these required forms by the deadline listed on the election packet by February 1st. In addition to the required paperwork, candidates are required to attend 2 meetings. The first is the pre-convention orientation meeting, which will be held on Saturday, February 3rd, 2024. The second meeting is the candidates meeting, which will be held at DCON 2024 on Friday, March 8th. More information on times and dates and other requirements will be found on the DCON 2024 election packet. So in order to be eligible to run for district executive office, you are also required to produce a candidate campaign flyer. This slide includes an example of a previous campaign flyer from a past district governor, Alice Lee, to show you how your campaign flyer could be formatted. For your campaign flyer, you may want to include a short biography, introducing yourself, goals for your term as a district officer, and experiences or skills you may find that suit for this role. So you may also include any previous experiences within Key Club and or from the Kiwanis family that you may have, or anything else you would like voting delegates and members to know about you. I would also suggest using platforms like Canva or Photoshop to create a professional looking flyer. More information about candidate flyer requirements can be found on the election packet. Following the opening session at DCON, you will be able to present your ideas and qualifications to all DCON attendees in a speech that does not exceed 3 minutes in what is known as the Mega Caucus. Following your speech, you will be given 1 minute to answer a standard moderator question that will be determined by the position you're running for. You will then have 4 minutes for a question and answer period with the audience. This will conclude Friday evening session. You will give a formal campaign address to the House of Delegates session on Saturday afternoon of DCON 2024. This speech has a 2-minute time limit and will not be followed with a standard moderator question or audience questioning. After all candidates for a position have finished their campaign address, the House of Delegates will cast their votes. The House consists of 2 voting delegates from each club attending DCON 2024. For a winner to be declared for each office, one candidate must receive a majority or over 50% of votes cast for said office. If no candidate receives a majority of votes, the top 2 candidates will present a 1-minute runoff speech and a second ballot will be cast. Because of this, candidates must prepare 2 speeches for the House of Delegates, a campaign address not to exceed 2 minutes and a 1-minute runoff speech, especially if there are more than 2 candidates running for the same office. More rules about speeches and questions will be covered at the pre-convention orientation meeting in February. I will now be moving on to the campaign rules when running for office. Remember that there is a $0 campaign policy for all candidates. That means that no campaign materials can be distributed at district convention, including any posters, buttons, or any other promotional material other than the information on the candidate packet. There is also no pre-convention campaigning permitted by the use of the internet or other electronic means. So you may not use social media campaigning or declare candidacy online. Finally, all candidates are prohibited from utilizing any current district board members in their campaign. For example, your division's lieutenant governor cannot endorse you at a DCM or other divisional event, nor can they help you write your speech. District board members cannot show favoritism to any candidate. For any of these campaign rules or other board policies are broken by a candidate, they will be subjected to a disqualification by the PNW Key Club Executive Committee with the approval of the district administrator. Now that we've discussed running for district office, I would like to hand it off to our international trustee, Alyssa Klein, who will be presenting you on the structure of the international board.
Thank you, Eric. Now I'll introduce the structure and general responsibilities of the International Board. To run for international office, it is a 2-step process. First, you will go through the same process as all other candidates running for executive office to seek endorsement. If endorsed at DCON, you will then go through caucusing and House of Delegates at International Convention. You will only be allowed to campaign after the international candidates packet is released. This year, International Convention will be held in Atlanta, Georgia from July 10th through 14th, 2024. International has slightly different rules as to how caucusing and House of Delegates is conducted. So if you plan on running, please make sure to read the candidate information on the Key Club website when it is available. The International Board is made up of a president, vice president, and 11 trustees. Each trustee is assigned 3 districts to serve as a liaison from the international to district level. In some ways, they act as lieutenant governors, communicating information from international to the district level as lieutenant governors would from the district to the club level. A maximum of 2 trustee candidates can be endorsed by each district, as well as 1 candidate for president and 1 candidate for vice president. Because our time is limited tonight, please reach out to me directly at alyssa.klein@keyclub.org for more information about the roles of international president or vice president. On that note, let's discuss the duties of international trustee. As mentioned earlier, the job of the international trustee is to serve as a liaison to at least 2 assigned districts, though typically trustees have 3 assigned districts. International trustees critically assess the strengths and weaknesses of their districts so that they can work with other international board members to solve issues within the organization. It is critical that they develop relationships with Kiwani's staff members and administrators to implement their work. An international trustee's responsibilities are defined by a set of guidelines provided by each assigned district governor and the international president. Trustees must also provide international updates. As trustee, I send emails to keep Pacific Northwest informed of what is happening at the international level. However, other forms of communication are frequently used. Typically, I have monthly calls with my assigned governor, in this case NOLA, to give relevant updates. Trustees are expected to attend 1 board meeting and convention of each district assigned. For example, I will be attending PNW's winter board meeting. Trustees work alongside the International Board. They serve on multiple international committees to carry out directives, define the administrative policies of Key Club, and interpret the scope and meaning of bylaws. International trustees are very similar to lieutenant governors. The committees are made up of trustees and are chaired by trustees or the international president or vice president, similar to how district committees are made, and some are chaired by lieutenant governors. Many people run for the office of international trustee expecting to make an impact on their districts, but the truth is that the international board has very little authority over the districts and mainly works to further the goals of the organization as a whole. Because of that, the first skill a trustee should have is patience, and also an awareness of what your role is. The role of a trustee is defined by directives provided by each assigned district governor. Because of that, the scope of impacts that you have in your districts is determined by each governor and not by you individually. Since the main objective of being a trustee is to further the goals of the organization, it is also critical that trustees are able to innovate new ways to achieve these goals and come up with new initiatives. Communication is another integral part of being an international trustee, as you've heard multiple times tonight. Not only should trustees have strong written and oral communication skills, they should also be willing and eager to work with advisors. Without building relationships with their assigned district administrators, Kiwanis International staff and board members, and the Key Club International staff, things can easily fall apart. In terms of running for international office, you will find that most of the process you will go through is very similar to running for a district executive office. Along with all of that information, the forms you will need to complete will all be located in the Call to Convention election packet. Being endorsed means that the PNW district agrees you are qualified to run for international office. When you go to the International Convention and go through caucusing and the House of Delegates, you can use your endorsement to your advantage when campaigning. In order to seek endorsement, you must follow a similar process as if you were to run for a district executive office. This includes submitting the appropriate paperwork, which consists of your candidacy flyers and forms by February 1st, 2024. You also must attend the pre-convention orientation meeting and the candidates orientation meeting at DCON. Lastly, you will caucus at DCON and deliver a formal address at the House of Delegates session, just like candidates who are running for a district executive position. After the district convention, if you are endorsed by the district, I will provide you more information about the role you are seeking to undertake, whether it is international trustee, vice president, or president. I will also ensure that you receive the necessary paperwork in order for you to run for international positions. In terms of campaigning, you will submit your campaign flyer and candidate's information sheet for the candidate's booklet, which will be distributed to members at the International Convention. As a point of clarification, you will send your campaign flyer and candidate information on February 1st for our district convention. After the district convention, if you are successfully endorsed, you will also send your campaign flyer and candidate information to Key Club International. You are allowed to make changes to your campaign flyer before you send it to International. It is also important to be aware that candidates for international office are responsible for attending the 2024 International Convention in Atlanta, Georgia, in its entirety at their own expense. Pacific Northwest Key Club will not provide financial aid to prospective attendees, but they can review sponsorship options with nearby Kiwanis clubs, local businesses, or the Key Club International Icon Scholarship. Questions about seeking international office not covered in this webinar should be directed to myself at alyssa.klein@keyclub.org or International President Kyle Hansen at kyle.hansen@keyclub.org. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alyssa. With all of that now covered, I want to add that if you're just thinking about running, just go for it. I promise the worst thing that can happen is that you're going to lose. And although it seems scary that the possibility of losing, I promise life is going to move on regardless of the result. In the long run, it's better to take a chance on this amazing opportunity than to regret not taking it months later. Making the jump to an executive position may seem scary, especially if you're coming from the club level like I did, but don't worry. Being an exec is more about the quality of work that you're willing to put forward and the passion that you have for Key Club and your willingness to contribute to the growth of the organization, not about the experience on your resume. So don't let your fears hold you back from taking this next step.
Thank you so much for those words of encouragement, Tin. I definitely resonate with everything you said and would encourage all of you to run if you are interested in a position. Now we will move into an open floor Q&A for all district board positions. So if you have any questions about any of the information you heard tonight, now is the time to ask. We will have 5 minutes of a whole group Q&A, and any of us that presented tonight will be willing to answer your questions. So please either raise your hand or you can leave your question in the chat. Emmanuel?
Hi, thank you all so much for your presentation. My question is for the LTGs, Kayla and Amy. So over your past term, where have you seen the most growth, both personally and in your division? And what were the most important things that you did to realize that growth in terms of, were the presidential council meetings the most important part? Would you say the Offer Training Conference was important? What created the most growth for you?
I can go first. So for me, I think when I first came into the position, I thought that it would be probably like DCMs where I'm seeing the most growth because those are the most fun parts where everybody wants to kind of show up and have fun. But I think a really large majority of the work is kind of done behind the scenes and not actually just when you're with your whole division. A lot of it is always being there for them. So being on hand to answer any questions if they're just gonna like DM you or email you. And then showing up to their events, even if you're not required to. So I know a lot of times clubs really appreciate it if you will come to their service events and support them or promote them, especially if they're having a fundraiser or along those lines. So that's where I've seen a lot of growth where you're kind of fostering the interconnectedness between all your clubs and supporting them so that they know that there's a higher level above that will support them as well. But like you mentioned before, also with DCMs and PCMs, those are really important for fostering connections between the clubs so that they have each other as support systems. So yeah, DCMs, I'd say those help grow your membership a lot, so grow the actual numbers of members that you're having, but actually like internally, a lot of the growth would kind of be behind the scenes.
Yeah, and to kind of follow with what Amy says, I've seen a lot of improvement with my PCMs and DCMs. Just being able to contact with your members and like have discussions and talk about like what could be improved with the division. Just being able to have that like sort of personal in-person talk really helps me understand like their feelings and what they want in the division.
Thank you. I also have a follow-up question. Would you say that for you it's more crucial to take the lead during your meetings with all the presidents and like share your ideas for how you can make the district better, or were you more receptive to the needs of your district?
I can answer first. So I'm sorry. Wait, say that again. Repeat your question again.
Yeah, was it more important for you to be proactive in trying to lead, I don't know, collaborative service projects and whatnot? Or was it more important for you to be taking in the needs of your division and addressing those?
Okay, so that kind of goes hand in hand. As a LTG, personally for me, I try to put myself as at the same level as them. I don't see myself as like an authoritative state or like as their boss. I really try to put myself on the same level and like try to understand their worries and like their questions. Because personally, as like I was president for my home Key Club, I understood the problems that most presidents had in our division, and I just used that to my advantage to make sure that all the presidents are being heard of.
Yeah, expanding on what Kayla said, I think there's never really been a clear prioritization of one over the other, like district versus division, and really serving your division. What you're doing is bringing information back from the district and resources from the district and bringing it to the divisional level. So it's like Kayla said, it's really hand in hand. Good question.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Emmanuel, for those questions. We will take a few more. We are running a little bit over time, so if you don't feel that you need to listen to any of the question answers, then you can feel free to leave, but we're just going to answer a few more before we conclude this webinar. So, Iris?
Hi, thank you so much for the presentation. I was wondering, how do you guys deal with time management? Because like I've seen from what you guys talked about in your positions, it seems like it takes a lot of responsibility and it takes a lot of time. So how do you guys deal with time management, especially we're also doing school as well? So that's a question that I was thinking of.
Do any of the execs want to take this on? Maybe Tin?
Sure, I can take this on. So I'm in a little bit of a different circumstance than most people because my school, I do something called Running Start. So I have really flexible scheduling. And honestly, outside in terms of my extracurriculars, I only dedicated my time to work or Key Club or my personal things. So I personally don't have a big trouble with time commitment just because I purposefully gave myself a lot of time for this position. However, I will say that on average, I spend around 5 to 10 hours a week, sometimes a little bit more when we're approaching the bigger deadlines, such as the seasonal board meetings, though sometimes it can go up to around 15 to 20 hours a week. However, I will say that although some tasks may take a lot of time, you can really try to problem solve and think of ways you can make things more efficient, such as, for example, when I track the district project contributions, I'm currently working with Amy, the district project chair, on making everything automated and basically so that after I read all the secretary reports, everything's going to be automatically calculated for her and overall just make it an efficient process. So I'll say I purposely gave myself a lot of time. I know a lot of people are balancing a lot of things, but when you do encounter it in your position, if you are planning to run, you will really need to learn how to make the things you need to do more efficient.
And then I think Kayla wanted to add on to that.
Yeah, so because Tin is in a different scenario, I will talk about my personal experience. So as a high school senior and being a president for Clackamas in my junior year, it was really difficult trying to balance both Key Club and school. But I think if you're just really good at knowing when to prioritize over like another action over the other, you'll be really successful in your term. As we said before in this webinar, that time management and just knowing when to prioritize things is really helpful in succeeding for lieutenant governor. So to say, like, if I knew that I had a really big final over in like my AP classes, but I had a LTG report due, I would probably prioritize trying to do, I think LTG reports are kind of quicker to do, so I would probably do that first. But it is, again, it kind of depends on how well you manage your time, because Key Club also looks at your grades and makes sure that you are also succeeding in high school.
Great, thanks, Kayla. And we are just going to conclude the webinar here as we have run a little bit over time. But with that, I would just like to thank all of you for attending our webinar, and you're welcome to direct any remaining questions to us via email, which you can see on the screen. And also in the chat, we've listed our Instagram if you would like to send any quick DMs. Finally, I wish you all the best of luck if you choose to pursue the rewarding journey of a higher office position. And I hope to see and meet all of you at DCON 2024 in Portland, Oregon. Thank you.